This interview features Matthew Tyler, a medical statistician at the Institute of Cancer Research, Debarati Sethi, a senior scientific officer at the Institute for Cancer Research, and Wayu Wuliningshi, a doctor specialising in clinical oncology. While each person chats to IRL, different aspects of their work are shown. At the STEAM Hub, a robotic arm projects the computer-generated smiley face of IRL.
I'm IRL, an artificial intelligence created to find out information about STEAM careers. Join me in interviewing professionals to explore their work.
Sector summary, medicine, loading.
Were you required to study or train for a qualification?
Yeah, so the main thing with being a medical statistician is to have a postgraduate degree in something like statistics, health data science or epidemiology. So it's anything that you might be working with healthcare data and how you try and analyse that data.
I chose English, maths and core STEM subject, physics, chemistry, biology in GCSE and A-levels. And then I have done a bachelor's in biotechnology and master's in biotechnology, industrial biotechnology, to get into this field. And I have done a couple of voluntary jobs as well, just to shadow senior scientists and to see how things work in a lab.
Finding qualifications are often essential in medical careers.
Thinking about your workplace and routine, please describe a typical workday.
We don't have a typical day, but we do have a typical week. We usually start with reviewing some patients in the ward. We usually like to see them early in the morning. And then sometimes we have meetings with other specialties, like the radiologists, the surgeons, and we usually go through difficult cases to make decisions about treatment together. Later on, we usually start seeing clinic patients. Now, this patient, they're usually having ongoing treatment for their cancer, so they would come repeatedly. And sometimes you get called if some of these patients, they have any urgent concern. So your day is never predictable, but it's never boring.
A typical workday would be designing and conducting experiments. It could be a day full of meetings and presentations, but usually it is a wet lab day. Wet lab meaning we are in the lab working. So the experiments run in various steps. So writing down each step, what I'm doing, and documenting the protocol, and then troubleshooting each step forms the basic day-to-day job of a scientist. And then when the experiment is finished, we have to analyze those, and then we try to make sense of those data sets.
Finding medical careers are varied, involving discussion of important topics, analysis of data, and careful planning.
Please outline the core criteria you would consider essential to have in your job and why.
So I think you've got to be curious, you've got to like solving problems. A big thing with my work is looking at data and trying to figure out what are we seeing here, and then try and figure out actually why are we seeing this in the data, what could be causing this. For example, with safety, are we seeing that some patients are having problems with the treatment? That's really important in my work to make sure that everyone's kept safe. Coding's really good as well, and that's how we get all our analyses done. It's how do we present data, how do we analyse data, how can we make things a bit more efficient, trying to figure out the right models. I think something else as well is you need to be able to discuss statistics to people outside of statistics. So it's the statistician's job to look at the data, make sense of it, and then feed back to people like doctors or other people within my organisation. We need to be able to communicate exactly what we're seeing. What do our sort of analyses, what are our models saying?
Curiosity is what I find helpful in medicine, because it's interesting to see how life consists of things. You see how human body moves, you see how a bug develops or grows from tiny cells into big organ, into human or animals, and I think that's what drew me into medicine.
Science and creativity always plays a role together. Creativity helps in understanding the science better. If we are not creative enough, we are not questioning enough, and then we do not answer any unsolved queries. It's all about hypothesis and proving those hypotheses, whether it's right or wrong.
Finding important skills for medical careers include analytic thinking, creative problem solving, and interpersonal skills. Summary complete. Sutton STEAMs Ahead is a project funded by a Cultural Impact Award as part of the Mayor of London's London Borough of Culture programme and the National Lottery Heritage Fund.